Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk to you guys about the two best ways to migrate your photos from your Google Photos or Google Drive account onto your Synology NAS. Now, a couple of disclaimers straight off the bat. Today we are going to be utilising a DS1821 Plus, and we are utilising DSM 6.2. I will be doing a follow-up video using DSM 7 very soon, but I will be doing it with the beta, so do bear that in mind. And also bear in mind that today I am going to be using a Synology NAS that's already been set up for photos. So you can check out my other videos where you can find out some of my guides setting up Synology Moments for the first time. And you can also find out some of my videos about Photo Station. Both of these, I've set up information there in the background with photo albums, both on Photo Station and Moments. And in today's video, we'll be showing you how to migrate photos over briefly to both of them. But moreover, this is more going to be about the Google side of things. So do check out my videos on how to set up Synology Moments and how to set up Synology Photo Station. And the last disclaimer straight off the bat, I do have an article that I've already made in advance, just generally about some of the advantages and indeed disadvantages of moving from Google Photos to a Synology or QNAP NAS. So I do recommend you check those out. There's a whole breakdown there of the applications you want to look at and the advantages, the costs, the pros, the cons, everything, all in that article. The URL is there at the top of the screen, and I will link to this in the description of the video. But let's get straight into it. So in today's video, I will be showing you two different methods. One of them is a lot more streamlined than the other. So let's go with kind of the more bulk one first. The first thing we're going to be looking at is Google Takeout. Now, for those that aren't aware, it's been around for a little while. I think a lot of the time it was people's queries about having access to their data or removing their data from Google. If you go to just simply takeout.google.com and log in with your Google account, we're using the throwaway Gmail account that we use for these videos. It has a list of all the different Google services and the ability to download the data that Google has on those services that, to your local system. Now, in today's video, we are going to be looking at Google Photos, where all of our photos are stored that are backed up from our Android device, our Google device. And of course, there is Google Drive as well, which is the more large spread area of storage on the cloud where all of our files live. Now, it's worth highlighting that the data taken up by Google Photos, although the same shared space as that of Google Drive, is not quite the same thing. These are two different areas, and when you're backing up photos from your Android or Google device, they may go to one of two different locations depending on how you back up. If you back up manually to Google Drive, they will appear as one of these folders here. But if you're using the stock Google application, Google Photos on Android devices, they will be uploaded to Google Photos, which is a separate area of your Google storage. Now, for those that aren't aware, till June of 2021, you can still upload largely unlimited photos to your Google Photo account, but after that date, any photos that you upload after then will count towards your overall storage. So at the moment, I've only got a test album here in this Google Photos account of 27 items, and it's 27 photos here, and obviously in my Drive, taking up the rest of that space, I've got loads of photos here that we've used from previous videos and more. So what we're going to do here is, if we go to the Google Takeout, if you want to download the photos that are on your Google Photo account, just scroll on down to Google Photos and make sure you've got that box ticked. By default, all the boxes will be ticked, but what you can do is deselect all, scroll down, find photos, add a tick, scroll to the bottom, click next step. Say that you only want to do it the once, and it'll download everything, but what you can do is a periodic download, so you get an email alert that lets you download the most recent editions. But I'm going to go for one full export. You'd even change the format if you choose, and you will have to unpack this file and then click Create Export. Now, I've already created an export earlier on, and I have already downloaded it. It's here in this download folder here, and I've already downloaded the takeout file. Now, what I've done after that is I've extracted it 2 here, and inside this album is just some of the Google Photos. I say some, it's all of the Google Photos put into different albums. So there's just some simple images there, along with thumbnail background information, and those photos that we had there on the Google Photos area. So from there, what we can do is simply move on to the NAS if we choose, go into Photo Station, and then from there, just simply either drag and drop or add. So if we go to Photos there, what we can do is go back into this album here, go into the Takeout album, go to Google Photos if we choose to do it that way and drag the whole folder, or get the 2 albums that are downloaded, and you can either drag and drop them directly into the album, where it will upload them directly into that area there, and they'll create their own folders, one after the other, as you can see. And then it will slowly upload those files as we have them. So let's get that back on screen. It's uploading all the files one by one onto the NAS. And then if we go into Photo Station, we can have the albums on the left there. If we refresh that page, we will start to see some of those albums begin to appear on here as this folder gets indexed. And from here, we can see that these photos are now going to be placed onto the different photo applications here on Photo Station. Now that's kind of the more caveman way to upload files and photos onto the NAS. One of the best ways to do it, though, in a more one-off, directly send over, but also during the interim to make sure you get the photos in the meantime, is to use something called Cloud Sync. Now in Cloud Sync, what we need to do is once again head over to the Application Center, and you need to find the app Cloud Sync. I've already installed it, but if we go to the top here, scroll along and find Cloud Sync. It's a nice easy file application to install. Just click it, install the app, and once it's installed, we can go straight into the app here with Cloud Sync. And Cloud Sync allows us to target that Google Drive that we just talked about. So if we go there and we go to the Google Drive option, there are lots of other cloud services supported, but for now we're just going to look at Google Drive. Click Next. From here there will be a pop-up asking you to authorize the connection with your account. In my case, I'm verifying this device, and now it's verified the connection with that account. It's asking for permission. Click Allow, and then from here the Synology NAS will allow you to see the file and folder structure of that Google Drive. So local path, during the case of this import from Google Drive to your NAS, you'll need to go to local path and select a folder on your NAS. So from here we can go into Photos, where we've already transferred those albums from earlier, and they can be transferred here. There's the albums. But what we're going to do is click, and we're going to create a new folder. We're going to call this one Google Drive. And now we've created a local folder on our NAS. We click Select, and now these photos will be carried over. From here, select the remote path. Here we'll list the albums that are on our Google Drive, and for now we're going to select the DS920 photos from last year. So I'm going to select that album. Click Select, and then the content of that album. So if we have a quick look at Google Drive, we're able to see that this album has got just a collection of photos that was sent to me from a user last year of a 920. Now we're going to choose the 920 photos from that Google Drive, and again you can copy over the entire Google Drive if you choose, but for now we're going with that, and then select the format that you want this synchronization and this import to take place. Bidirectional means that changes both on the folder on the NAS and the folder on the cloud will be implemented across both. Download remote changes only will mean that it will create a backup, and then as changes happen to the cloud drive, those updated photos or more photos will be added to the other one. Or upload local changes only will mean that if there's changes to the NAS folder, it will affect that of the cloud. I'm going to go with bidirectional for now, and you can even encrypt the data if you're worried about the security of these photos in transit. There's also worth highlighting that you can create a schedule for this to be run either at all times and synchronized with changes, or for the synchronization between these the Google Drive and your NAS to happen at certain times of day on a schedule if you choose. But for now, I'm going to click next, and then can go ahead and verify these settings if I choose, and then click apply. It's now synchronizing with that DS920 album on my Google Drive with the NAS, and it's going to carry those files over. So if we go back into here, we can find that album that we've just created. So let's refresh that folder list. Go to Google Drive, and as we can see, it's already starting to carry some of those files over. Let's change the viewpoint on that. Let's go with large icons. As we can see, it's going to begin transferring those files over. And if we just refresh, we'll be able to see that more files are getting added all the time. And from there, once again, if we go into Photo Station, we can go ahead and click refresh, and these changes should be implemented. And as you can see, photos from 2017 earlier, photos from 2018 earlier have now carried over, and of course we have got the DS920 Plus album in Google Drive also being carried over, and all of that is going to happen in real time there in the background. And it's as simple as that to transfer photos over from your Google Photos account and your Google Drive account to your Synology NAS. Now remember to go over to that article that we had here published on NAS Compares at the closing stages of 2020. It will talk you through the advantages and the disadvantages on moving away from Google Drive and Google Photos and onto a NAS. It covers everything from security to cost, price and more. There are lots of reasons why you may want to continue using Google Cloud services. There's nothing wrong with using both. I've got to say, when it comes to storing your photo media, it is going to become increasingly more straightforward and definitely more cost effective to make your way over to NAS for that side of thing. I'm going to be doing this exact same video once again using DSM-7 very soon and covering a few other NAS brands in the very near future. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. Do let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in the near future. Click like if you've enjoyed the video, click subscribe to learn more, and I'll see you next time.